So I wanted to do a quick tutorial video about Hostess Coaching. Okay, so Hostess Coaching is very, very important because that is going to determine a lot of the success of your hostess's party, is how much she is interacting with the guests and how much she is promoting her party. So it's very, very important that your hostess coaching is done well. So I'm going to kind of go through what I do with each of my hostesses. Obviously, not every party is the same. Not every hostess is the same. Not every hostess's group of friends are the same. So this isn't like a foolproof way of having a fantastic party, but it's definitely going to help you. So the first thing that I'd like to say is you need to set up a call with her, okay? So just messaging back and forth, sending emails is not really hostess coaching. You really need to try to Skype her. You can Facebook Skype her. There's like a function in the chat section where you could do that, or you could use your phone to call her, whatever the case may be, but it's much better if you can get her like in front of a camera and be talking to her. Not only is that going to help you build a relationship with her, because as you're in this business longer, you're going to start meeting people who are going to want to be your hostesses. That's how I met a lot of you. Some of you, I didn't even know you until I started the Starting One business. So it's very, very helpful if you can set up a call so you can talk with them. You can talk with them as face-to-face as possible. It makes them a little more comfortable and helps you be a little more comfortable with them as well. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that I do. And I'm going to show you a few things that I put in a hostess packet. So essentially, if we're going to do this in a timeline fashion, you have your hostess. She says, yes, I want to do a party. Normally, they will tell you, sometimes it's in the distant future, but a lot of times a date will actually be picked about a week and a half to 2 weeks before the actual party. So you're going to want to get moving quickly because you're going to want to send her a hostess packet in the mail, especially if she's doing a Facebook party, or if she's not doing a Facebook party, she's doing a home party, whatever the case may be, or she lives near you, you can also just hand her this packet. But you want to make sure that she has it at least before a week. I start doing my pre-posts and setting up my parties on Facebook at least a week before the actual party date. So you want to make sure that she has that and you have done your phone call with her as much as possible a week before the actual party starts. If you do it like on the day that the party's supposed to start, that's perfectly fine as well. I've done that. So a couple of things that I put in the hostess packet. I give her a large catalog. I don't give a lot of these out to the hostess because I really encourage people to shop online, and I do that for 2 reasons. First of all, that is where they're going to actually place their order. So I want them to go to a place that they're going to place their order. So as they're shopping, they're adding things to their cart. So I'm telling you, people are going to get lazy, and sometimes if they're not on your website shopping, they're just looking through a catalog and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Something comes up, they forget, and they don't want to take the time to do that. So it's very, very important. If you can get them to shop on your website, you have a better chance of them actually ordering because, again, they're looking and adding things to their cart. Okay, so I only give her about 1, maybe 2 of these in case she has somebody who's really not a big online shopper. But I really just try to stick with 1 of these. However, I do give her several little mini catalogs. And these are basically little tools that she can hand out to her friends, like if she's, talking to the bank clerk or whatever, and she happens to have a relationship with them. She could be like, hey, I'm having this really great 31 party. Here's my little pamphlet. Are you interested in coming? So on and so forth. I don't have any with me right now, but I've actually gone on RedStamp. I know you've seen me do a tutorial on redstamp.com, and I have created little invitations that I'll print out from home You'll have to like save them and then like put them, like copy them over to Google Docs or something like that and print them out with all the information. So while she's having a conversation with her friends, you know, if they seem any bit interested, she can hand it to them. It has the party link on there, so that they can go and start shopping. So just something she can actually hand them. Okay, so I normally give her a couple of these, and then a couple of those invitations. So probably about 6 or 7 maybe of these, and then probably about 10 of those little invitation things. Okay. Some other things that I sometimes include in there is like if you have any of the customer special flyers, I'll put maybe 1 or 2 in there that she can be showing off. Again, if it is a Facebook party, you're going to be posting about all of that, so there's really not a need for that because, again, she's going to be talking to her friends quickly, and she doesn't want to overwhelm them with here's this, and here's this, and here's this, because, again, they're going to see it all on the party. Another thing that I do include, though, is an opportunity brochure. There's 2 different kinds. There's like a 1 8x10 sheet, and then this one's like the little packet version. I always include one of these because you never know, your hostess may become your newest recruit. Now, this is something that I personally do with my hostesses. I've just started doing it here lately, and it's something that you can follow or you can do your own thing. But what I have started doing is telling my hostesses, if you decide to join my team and you tell me 24 hours before your party starts, I will flip the party, which means that you will get all of the credit off of your, you will get all of the commission off of your party, and you will get all of the hostess credit off of your party. So it'll essentially be your launch party. But I tell them I want 24 hours in advance. That is because it's going to take a little bit of time to do that switch. Obviously, we've got to get them set up. I want to get them comfortable with being a consultant, and I want to make sure we let all of the guests know before the party starts what's going to be going on. So that is kind of my little deadline, but you can do whatever you want. Pretty much immediately as soon as they sign up, they have access to everything. So really you only need probably about an hour from that standpoint before, but to give yourself a little bit of time to kind of go over some things with her, 24 hours is kind of a nice little deadline. So just something to consider. If she does decide to become a consultant after like the party is over, she's like, oh man, look at all those rewards. Yeah, I want to be a consultant. It is completely up to you. You are able to quote unquote flip the party. However, all of the guests' orders would have to be deleted from your system, and they would have to replace those orders. We don't have the availability to like transfer them over. So that's why I always tell my hostess it has to be before the party. So make sure you keep that in mind, because obviously we don't want to have a big headache going on. Okay. All right. So that's kind of my packet. There's 2 other things that I actually include in the packet, and I'm going to show those to you now. So if you haven't received a folder recently with all of these different documents in it, like a hostess letter, a hostess packet for Facebook party, home party, on the go, please let me know. I want to send that to you. But there's 2 things in here that I include with my hostesses, okay? So the first one is this sheet. So it says, thanks for hosting, follow these steps to have a successful party. So there's 4 different things, and I go over this with her. This is one of the first things that I go over with her because this is what she is required to do, okay? I tell her, these are your 4 requirements. Put this on a mirror, put it on the refrigerator, wherever you're going to see it every day, to remind yourself that these are the 4 things that you need to do to be able to have a successful party. So the first one is get excited. So obviously your party's going to be fun. Your friends are going to feed off of that excitement. And part of that excitement is being engaging on the Facebook party page. What that means is she needs to comment and like every single post that you put up. And the reason that is so important is because her guests do not want to go first. They are going to follow her lead. So it's very, very important that you stress that to her, that you tell her they are going to feed off your excitement. If you are not commenting and posting and and excited about this party, more than likely it's not going to do as well. So I definitely say you get excited, you share with your friends, and your party will be more successful. Along with that is also getting talking about it with your friends. So whether that's at church or if it's at work or if it's at a mommy play date or whatever the case may be, you need to be talking about it. Be carrying, if you have any 31 products, be carrying it around with you, especially if you have the customer special for that month. Definitely stress they need to carry that around, because that is where they're going to accumulate orders. Okay. The next thing I tell them is, I already have your party set up because I've already done that earlier. I already have it set up, and I'm going to add you as a hostess right after this call. So what I need you to do is I need you to invite between 40 and 50 people, okay? Don't go any more than 50, and that's for two reasons. Number one, Facebook algorithm could make it so that not many people actually see it because it looks like a low priority because there's so many people that were invited. And two, you got to think about it from your perspective. You know, if you were invited to a party and there were 200 people being invited to this Facebook party, are you going to want to go? No, because you're just a number. So 40 and 50, I know that seems still like quite a bit of people, but for Facebook, that's a little bit more intimate, and more than likely not every single person's going to go. So that kind of pads your party a little bit. So hopefully you maybe at least get half of that. Okay. I also encourage her not to send mass messages or mass emails, to private message each person, inviting them to the party, say hello and whatever their name is. So I tell them, you need to make this as personal as possible, because again, people are more apt to come if you are being personable with them and you are singling them out and not making them feel like they're just a part of this big group. So I actually have a template that I use for my hostesses if they're like, oh man, I don't know what to write to these people. Well, I have a template that I send them. It basically has a spot in there for them to put their own little take on the party, so to speak. And then all she's got to do is copy and paste that and send it to each friend, being sure to change the name of the person that she's sending it to. So very, very easy peasy. Again, it goes a long way. I also tell her that I'm going to be making red stamps for her throughout the party. So I will make two red stamps for her before the party. One is about 2 days before the party. I'll send her one, and that's the red stamp that she will send to all of the people that she invited to the party but have not responded, to remind them, hey, please RSVP. The second thing that I do is I send her a red stamp the day of the party that she can send out to all of those people who responded that they were going or that they were maybe going to be able to attend. So those are the two stamps that I send out to her. And then after the party, I give her another red stamp that's basically like a thank you red stamp that she can then send to every single person that she invited them, thanking for attending, and reminding them of when the party is closing, and any giveaways that are going to be given out, okay? I have actually started telling people, if you RSVP to my party, I will give you an entry into the drawing to win a prize. So I always give a door prize out during the actual party, regardless if that person orders or not, and they can get entries by responding, RSVPing that they're going, and then I have a couple of different posts, and I tell the guests this. There's going to be a couple of posts that are going to give you extra entries, so make sure you're paying attention to the pre-posts. Okay, so then I go over, obviously, inviting your friends. We kind of touched on that above a little bit. And then also we touched on the sending of the reminders. And I also encourage her to collect outside orders. Just because somebody says they can't come doesn't mean necessarily that they're not interested in ordering. So I always tell her, even if somebody's like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to attend, you'd be like, oh, that's totally fine. But did you, again, important that they're carrying their favorite product around with them. Oh, that's totally fine. You can't attend, but look at this. But these are some of the products that they actually have. Look at this really awesome, whatever the product is. Isn't it really, really neat? oh yeah, that's a really cool product. Do they have anything for blank? And then she can start a conversation with them, pull up the website on her phone, and she might have just gotten herself an order. So definitely encourage her. Just because they can't attend doesn't mean they don't necessarily want to order. Okay? All right, so that is the first thing that I send to her. And then I switch over to this other, this other form. And these I have printed out and sent to her so that she has them in her possession, and essentially we just go over them. Okay? All right, so here I have her start to make a wish list. So right here it tells her, so again, she has an idea of what she is going to have to achieve, that to get an average $600 party, she needs to have 12 people that attend that are willing to shop and buy something for at least $50. Okay, obviously that goes down if you have somebody that buys something for $100. Now you only need 10 more people. So I encourage her, make sure you keep that in mind. Obviously a $200 level makes it party level, but we want to get you as many rewards as possible. So let's shoot for that $600 level. At this point, I'd be like, hey, do you have a wish list? And we would kind of go over that. She would kind of tell me the different things that she's looking at, and I would make a list so that I can go into the reward section of the catalog, add up everything that she's looking at, and tell her, hey, based on the things that you want, we're not looking at just a $600 party, we're looking at an $800 party, okay? So that means that we need to get a few more shopping people in there. That means we need to push a little bit harder. But that gives her an idea of, hey, if I want all these awesome rewards, I'm going to have to put a little bit of work into this, okay? It's also important, too, so you can really see what she was looking for. Is she looking for one thing? Is she just looking for those Hostess exclusives? Again, it gives you an idea of what she wants out of this party so that you can better help her and encourage her with those orders, okay? All right. And I also go over some of this other stuff, which is pretty basic here. You can go back and read some of it later, okay? Again, we talk about inviting the guests. We pretty much went over that on the first page that I sent her, but again, she has this. It's a little more detailed here, and she can read that later. We already talked about collecting the outside orders. And we also talked about already kind of reminding the guests about the party. So we've already kind of gone over that. So we don't really have to necessarily, quote unquote, worry about that. But anyways, she can definitely look over that as well. And here's where she can make her wish list. And obviously this Hostess Rewards Tracker is also in the catalog, so she doesn't have to necessarily worry about, always going back and forth. But this is where she can start to make her wish list and write things down, because once it's down on paper and she hangs it up in her house somewhere, it again reminds her of her goals so that it can be met, okay? I also encourage her to read the please note section. This basically tells her the rules involved with picking out specific products. So obviously there's 8% shipping on discounted products. There is no shipping cost if the product is free. So any of the credit items, she doesn't get charged shipping cost on that. Be careful though. This is one little thing when you're going in the state of West Virginia, you're fine, but different states have different rules as far as tax. I know, for example, Pennsylvania, even if the item was absolutely free and the hostess used her credit to buy it, the state of Pennsylvania still requires sales tax to be paid on those items. So I've been told it's kind of like 50-50, like half of the states in the United States require that tax and half of them don't. I know in West Virginia they don't require it, but I know in Pennsylvania they do. So if you start seeing that, that's what's going on, and you can explain that to her. Also explains that you can't use rewards in conjunction with one another, so you can't use your credit to pay for a half-priced item, so on and so forth. So she can read through those so that she has an idea of how that works, okay? And then down here at the very bottom, it says, let's find your party people. So I encourage her to use this to help her decide who she wants to invite. whether they be neighbors or coworkers. And this just gives her some different categories, because like sometimes I don't think about some of these. I don't think about, oh yeah, people who love to entertain. I never thought about that. So this really, really helps her to narrow down who she really wants to have. Obviously, she doesn't have to only invite 4 friends. She can invite, all of them can be friends if she wants to. But this, again, just gives her some different categories to be thinking about, okay? And then down here below, and I always encourage her to do this, these are her top VIPs. So there's, it may not be 15, and that's totally fine, but I encourage her to fill out this list and then just text me or send me a picture really quick. That essentially tells me who the top people are that she thinks that are gonna order, like her best friend, her mom, her aunt, her grandmother, her work friend, people like that she really thinks are really gonna order, because I want to reach out to those people specifically, inviting them to the party, letting them know about the customer special, and at the same time too, kind of knowing in the back of both of our heads, the hostess and myself's heads, hey, we don't want to close this party out until we have heard back from such and such, because we think that they were interested in ordering, and if we haven't heard back from them, we want to make sure we get a hold of them before we close out this party. So very, very helpful there. Again, it keeps you both on the same page, so you feel comfortable when it is party time. So at this point, after the call is finished, I obviously ask her any questions that she has, so on and so forth. At this point, then we would hang up on the call, and I would go to the party page and add her as a hostess. Now, before the party, I have put up some type of really funny, like, little meme. Like right now, I have one with Olaf, and he's relaxing on the beach, and it says, just think how much cooler I'll be. With a 31 bag in my hand, just think how much cooler I'll be in summer. I think that's what it was. So I have that up there just as something funny. And then I personally do a video on there explaining how the party will work, informing the guests about the whole pre-party posts, and make sure that you comment that you're RSVP that you're going, things like that. If you want to see one of those videos, I would be happy to add you to a past party or to somehow send you that video so you can take notes on it. But again, it's showing my face to these guests. It's getting them excited. It's being a little more personable with them. If you're really nervous about doing videos, you're more than welcome to do, write some type of paragraph about yourself. I've done that in the past when I've just been too swamped to get the video done. But if you're able to do the video at all possible, I would definitely encourage you to do that. And then obviously I put about 1 to 2 pre-posts up every single day. And then of course we have the party the night of. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of hostess coaching. Hopefully you realize the value of it. And how important it is that you set up this time with your hostess to go everything, and reiterate to her that, hey, if we don't reach party level, there's no rewards. So it's very, very important that she understands that and how important her role is in this party as well. So again, I hope that this was helpful for you. As always, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, or you want further information about Facebook parties, or Facebook posts, things of that nature, or any other questions about hostess coaching, please let me know. I would love to help you figure out what we need to do to make your parties more successful. So thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.